Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. We should remind ourselves that RICO charges, stemming from the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act enacted in 1970, are a potent tool in the United States for combating organized crime and a wide array of criminal activities. Under RICO, individuals and entities can be charged for participating in a pattern of racketeering activity through an enterprise, which can be any group or association engaging in criminal acts. These activities span from fraud and bribery to drug trafficking and terrorism-related offenses. To bring RICO charges, prosecutors must establish the existence of an enterprise, a pattern of racketeering activity, and the individual's association with the enterprise. Convictions under RICO can result in significant penalties including fines, asset forfeiture, and lengthy prison sentences. On Monday, March 18, attorney Jennifer Bonjean urged the federal appeals court to overturn R. Kelly's abuse convictions, warning with emphasis that the case against R. Kelly stretched federal racketeering laws to the point of absurdity, and could potentially turn college fraternities into illegal conspiracies. At the same oral argument hearing before the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, lawyer Jennifer Bonjean told a panel of judges that R. Kelly's employees had just been unwitting staffers performing anodyne tasks for a famous person, not a group with a criminal purpose like the mafia or a drug cartel. Seeking to reverse R. Kelly's conviction under the Federal Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, Jennifer Bonjean accused prosecutors of using that law in a preposterous new way, and trying by hook or crook to make R. Kelly culpable under this law, yet in fact that is not the case. The government has extended the RICO statute to a set of circumstances that is so beyond what the framers intended, which was to get at organized crime, Bonjean said. Now, we're talking about an organization with an alleged criminal, but not organized crime, she added. We should also recall that after decades of accusations and allegations of misconduct, R. Kelly was hastily and unfairly convicted in September 2021 on 9 RICO counts related to allegations that the king of R&B had orchestrated a long-running scheme to recruit and abuse women and underage girls. In 2022, he was unfortunately sentenced to an unbelievable 30 years in prison. At Monday's oral argument hearing, Jennifer Bonjean repeatedly told the panel judges that the government had failed to prove that members of R. Kelly's organization knew crimes were being committed, meaning the RICO law didn't apply. She said, for instance, that staffers didn't know any of the women were underage and all they did was to promote R. Kelly's music. We should note the fact that Bonjean was trying to explain all this under great interruption by one of the appeal judges. After being given ample time to talk uninterrupted, unlike Bonjean, Assistant United States Attorney Kayla Cruz Bensing, arguing back for the government, adamantly rejected that claim. The defendant had a system in place that lured young people into his orbit and then took over their lives, she told the seemingly government-leaning judges. Bensing said that members of R. Kelly's organization had been aware of the organization's ill intent, citing an earlier testimony that one victim had been approached by a member of R. Kelly's entourage at a McDonald's, and that she told him that she was only 16 years old, and that he had then given her R. Kelly's number and told her to call him. Bensing further added that another R. Kelly employee testified that he had answered phones for R. Kelly's girlfriends, some of whom he identified as mid-aged teenagers. Throughout her submission, Bensing was just re-echoing the alleged victims' testimonies that the alleged victims had given during the district court proceedings and then in the dramatic Surviving R. Kelly docuseries. These are testimonies we all know were greatly inaccurate, as they were marred with lies and other anomalies like sudden changes in testimony accounts. A greater part of the day's hearing was spent squabbling over in the weeds legal issues, like whether a single intimate act could fit the definition of forced labor under federal law, or whether Jennifer Bonjean even had a procedural proper way to fight her appeal, since R. Kelly's previous attorneys had failed to challenge the instructions given to the jury at trial. She, however, reminded the panel of judges that she was not among R. Kelly's previous lawyers, but she was around to correct any prior mistakes. Concerning her main point about whether RICO requires an illicit purpose, Bonjean repeatedly faced unfair pushback and interruptions from the judges. The judges pointed out on multiple occasions that there is no written requirement that the law only be used against outright criminal organizations, and one judge specifically hastily noted that labor unions had been repeatedly charged with violating RICO. RICO is looking at organizations that are then used to commit criminal acts, Judge Denny Chen said. It doesn't have to be a criminal organization. It could be a completely legitimate organization, but if it engages in racketeering activity, it violates RICO, he adamantly added, sadly ignoring Bonjean's school of thought. Despite all the challenges, Bonjean remained steadfast and focused, arguing that the statute could not be brought to bear against an organization like R. Kelly's, which she said merely had the purpose of promoting his musical career and personal brand. This was not a collection of people who had a purpose to recruit girls for abuse, Bonjean said. Whether they turned a blind eye, whether some of them suspected that some of these girls were underage, that's a whole different matter, she noted. Once we get into that sort of territory, where we're going to say that that constitutes a RICO enterprise, we have a lot of organizations and we have a lot of frat houses, we have all types of organizations that are now going to become RICO enterprises, Bonjean added. Jennifer Bonjean went on to push her point further, saying that such an approach would have allowed federal prosecutors to charge infamous Ponzi scheme perpetrator Bernie Madoff with RICO violations, rather than the slew of fraud charges he actually faced. At that point still, Judge Richard Sullivan interjected rather sarcastically, saying that Bernie Madoff had gotten 150 years, and so Bonjean's argument did not matter. However, we should not forget the fact that RICO is a powerful tool in the federal government's legal arsenal, designed to combat organized crime and corruption by targeting individuals and entities engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity. But we are also reliably aware that it has also been used by the government to fight those it is in legal conflicts with, including R. Kelly. All we know for sure is that R. Kelly and his supporters are eagerly awaiting the outcome of the appeal argument presented in court. We remain hopeful for a favorable result, believing in the strength of Bonjean's arguments and the integrity of the legal process. As we await the court's decision, we maintain optimism and resilience, trusting that justice will prevail. Our anticipation truly reflects our unwavering commitment to seeking a just resolution to R. Kelly's case. We want to see R. Kelly outside those prison walls sooner than later. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.